Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ben here. I am back again today doing another video. The subject of today's video is going to be talking about Andre Drummond joining the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if you've been under a rock for the last 2 days, Andre Drummond was traded on Thursday from the Detroit Pistons, to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And in exchange, Detroit got a second round pick and expiring contracts in Brandon Knight and John Henson. This trade is probably the most baffling and probably the most surprising of any of the trades that went down. People are very surprised that Cleveland wanted Andre Drummond, number one, and then number two, also pretty surprised at how little Detroit got in return for him. So to talk about Detroit's side really quick, I'm not going to spend as much time on them because I don't think their side of things is nearly as interesting. They get expiring contracts. I don't think either of which they'll really necessarily try to re-sign. John Henson's a good backup center. Brandon Knight basically shouldn't even be in the league right now, I feel like. And the second round pick is just, I guess, a little bit of a sweetener. It shows that there's not much value out there for Andre Drummond and probably centers in general. And I think it shows that he probably won't get that good of a return on the market this offseason. So basically, what is it for Detroit? It's cap space that they're going to get in the offseason and a second round pick. So essentially, instead of losing him for nothing, they got a second round pick out of it. Now, as for Cleveland's side, it's a very head scratching decision. I'd say presumably this is going to mean that Tristan Thompson will not be re signed in the offseason. He'll be sent into free agency. And I'm also assuming that they're probably going to try and re-sign Drummond. At this point, I'd actually expect him to opt into his contract because I think he stands to make like 28 million if he opts into that contract. So I think that he will at this point because it seems like the market for him is pretty low, considering like really no teams were trying to give up much to get him. As far as what Cleveland's trying to do, I guess they're trying to become a contender now with a Drummond who's like 28 years old, Kevin Love, who's like 31, Darius Garland, who's 19, and Colin Sexton, who's 20. That's a pretty big gap as far as competition and the age of the guys on their team, but they're gonna go for it. So as far as like the fit, I think he'll probably just sub in for Tristan Thompson, and Thompson will back him up, and so I mean, he'll fill that role and he'll do a better job than Tristan Thompson's been doing just because Andre Drummond's a bigger, better player. Um, he's this season he puts up really good numbers, but I don't think they really translate to wins. He's averaging 18 points a game and 16 rebounds, and I think um, that really stems from two things. Number one, Blake Griffin hasn't been on the team, so he's gotten a lot more shot opportunities and is averaging like a tied for career high in points per game. And then Blake Griffin's also been out, so he's been getting more rebounds too. And in general, they play a smaller team around him, so he gets a lot of rebound opportunities. Next to Kevin Love, they'll either get a ton of rebounds or they'll both have more like average numbers. Like I'd be interested to see if Kevin Love keeps up averaging like 11 rebounds a game, if Drummond drops to more like 12 or 11 a game, it could be interesting to watch and see as far as that goes. Um, as far as Drummond fitting with the rest of the team, I guess he fits fine. I feel like their spacing wasn't great before, and he can shoot basically as much as Thompson, so the spacing will be the same. Um, if they plan to re-sign him, I'll be really curious what other moves they try to make because I feel like just bringing in Drummond, basically I feel like by letting Thompson go in the offseason and bringing in Drummond, this is essentially saying we're trading Tristan Thompson for Andre Drummond. I don't think that he's enough of an upgrade to make this team a contender. I still think that, if Kevin Love plays like an all-star, if Andre Drummond plays like an all-star, if Darius Garland and Colin Sexton naturally progress like we're expecting, this is a team that caps out, if everything goes perfectly, at like 35 wins, I think. Um, and that's being like optimistic, but I think realistically this next year, if they keep this group together and they're all healthy and play up to what we expect, I see them being about a 28 win team or a 30 win team. Um, yeah, so I don't know. This move is probably the most perplexing because I don't think that either team had that much to gain from doing it. And at this point, it's like, yeah, Detroit got a second round pick, but why not just let the season ride out with Drummond on your team, have a good like end stretch of him playing for Detroit, and then just go forward with the free agency plans. But Cleveland may have something up their sleeve that none of us realize, but we'll just have to see. I don't have much more for this trade, or for this trade, I guess I'll talk a little bit about Love playing with Drummond. I feel like the spacing will be odd, and it won't be as good as people think. You know, when Love had LeBron there, he played a lot more on the outside and shot a lot more threes, and I feel like he still shoots a good amount of threes, but now he plays a little bit more on the block because there's less people um, commanding that they drive, like LeBron or whoever. So I think Love, to make this work, will have to resort to playing much more on the perimeter again, like he was formerly. So we'll have to see how that shakes out, or if he's willing to do that, and if Drummond is able to be still a consistent offensive presence. I'm sure his scoring average will drop from 18 to probably more like 16 or 15, I would think. So we'll just have to see how that all shakes out. That's all I got, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.